This conference will now be recorded.
You all can see my
Yeah.
screen, right?
Yeah.
So this is a kind of thing which you always get whenever you go for the Workday training as well from any partner portal or anything kind of that. So this is the kind of sheet which they give on your exam day, that is on your test day. This is exactly what is given. Looking at it, you can understand, right? What is the requirement? You have to get it from this particular sheet. Can anybody tell me what will be our total approach of finalizing this whole tenant setup?
Need to create a location first, and then all the hierarchies, cost center, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And need to create an supervisory organization, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then hire an employee and attach a compensation. I mean, you need to job profile and all those things. Then hire an employee.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, very correct. So, I mean, looking into this sheet, if you can see that this is let's add one more thing, that is the title. So that will be our job profile. So let's say solution architect. So these are the titles we'll use, and these are the titles which for which we'll be creating our job profile as well. So looking at into this sheet, we can see that there are 11 employees which we'll be using for our tenant demo and everything. So you all have the tenant access, right? So what I'll do is I'll share this sheet with you guys as well. We'll first create our hierarchy on the paper so that we know what is the approach we have to take, we know what is the process we have to take, and then we will keep on implementing. Okay, so if you all guys want to practice this. Yeah, Vivek?
I guess we have not covered how to create the employee. We have seen everything else. I guess how will we put that employee there?
These employees you're talking about.
Yeah, these employees. Let's say
So
I have created everything. Now, how will I hire this particular name, and where will we put in all those details and everything?
yeah, so that is why I wanted to have this demo so that we can have it live and see everything which is happening. So what will this is purely being done once you have the supervisory organization ready. Once you have if those organization as position management, you create the position, and then you hire people. In that you will put in the name. Okay, this is the name, this is the compensation, this is the cost center which will be assigned to them, the company, the location, and everything at the time of hiring them employee. So that we will cover once we have this all these things ready and set up into the tenant. Okay,
Okay.
so
And one
hiring.
more thing,
Yeah.
we can identify that there is CEO, CTO, then there is Workday manager. So
Yeah.
these will be the only four managers. The rest,
No. You can't compare it with the titles. You only have to compare it with this particular column, which is called the manager, not with the title.
oh, okay.
Even though his title, if you see, is Workday manager, but he's not the manager. If you see, it's not in the same list, right? That's why
Okay.
I took this example. That's why I put in the Workday manager here, because I wanted to create all the scenarios which can remove all the confusions you have in your mind. So never go through the title to identify your manager. So always go through this manager column to identify who will be the manager, right? So now we'll start. We'll start with the.
Arun, one request. Can we also have departments over here like HR, finance? Because we have company which is only Global Link.
So
There's
typically,
just one company.
Yeah, so typically, Seema, the departments, they will never be like they will never be a part of the supervisory organization hierarchy, right? What we can do is, okay, in this way, let's say, so let's identify first. Let's identify the number of managers here, and then we will we'll put the organization name as it. Let's do this in this way. Superior org. So let's say my first org is XYZ. Not XYZ, let's put another name. Let's say uh, practice or management. So in all, how many organizations will be there if you see? One, two, three, four, five, and six org. So total will be seven org, right?
Yeah.
Finance.
So, I mean, any name we can put in. That's not a problem. So one, two, three, four, five. Practice org. Maybe
R&D.
let's do it. Practice. Okay. Fine. So now we'll also put in this one. Okay, we'll put in the name by identifying how many managers are there. So the Chris is at the top level. So Chris are being reported by, so let's say make another Chris because there will be two level organizations. Then Chris is being reported by Glenn, and he is being reported by Manpreet. So Glenn will be reported to like
Williams.
Ken. Let's add in here. It's William. But William is not the manager, so we are not bothering about him. So we'll only bother
Mhm.
about the managers, right? So Glenn is
Yeah.
reported by William. Glenn is reported by Christian. So only Christian is the manager. That's fine. For Manpreet, it's me and Rahul. So, and then Christian reporting Christina is not the manager. So Purvi, so Rahul is reporting to Manpreet, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, these are the six orgs, right? Seven orgs which will be created because these are the six unique managers, 3 to 5, 6 unique managers. So similarly, let's say like this is the main organization that is practice org management, which is so now looking at this hierarchy, I'll finish it off. So let's say this is my superior org, right? That is practice org management because there is no superior org for me. So for this particular organization, the name will be practice org management. Can you identify it, right? So what you have to do is like looking at this org structure and looking at your manager structure, you can identify the name of your organization. So if you see here, that is here, if Chris has no boss, then that means Chris is at the top. And similarly, practice org management has no superior organization. The organization for the top level thing, which we call the dummy organization, the name of that organization will be practice org management, right?
Yes.
Is that making sense? Similarly, second org like practice org management is reported by practice org executive. So we will put practice org executive. Now, Glenn is reporting to Chris. These two organizations like tech and HR, they are being reporting to executive, right? So let's assume that practice org tech is for Glenn, and for Manpreet it will be like practice org HR, right? Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now for Christian, let's say practice org finance is reporting to practice org HR.
IT will be tech.
I mean, we can put in any name. That is fine. So let's say so here also there's one more column we can add which will easily identify here. So suppose here is the manager for Chris. This is the manager for Chris. Then this is Glenn. Then this is Manpreet. Then say this is Christian. Then this is Purvi, and then this is Apple. Right. So let's say for finance you can add it here, and for R&D. So even Rahul is also reporting to Manpreet. So Rahul is reporting to Manpreet, and Purvi is also reporting to Manpreet. Then Christine is reporting to Glenn. So this will be practice org, correct? So now looking at these three columns, we can identify. Sorry, we can identify the
So,
name of our organization. Yeah.
in terms of iLoad, does client fill all that forms or in the templates, or do we have to identify something like this
So
because it's a very lengthy process?
yeah, so typically what happens is like if the client fills in the data in the iLoad, so if the clients are like understanding the Workday system, they will upload it into the iLoads directly. But what happens is like the template we create, this is how we do it. That is, we put in the org name, we put in the supervisory org, and we put in the manager. So these three columns will give, they will fill in the data here. These columns we will give, and they will fill in the data here. And then looking at those three four sheets, looking at like we can have those Excel VLOOKUP function and all those things. So when we build the template, we have everything like that. So we do the VLOOKUP, we do everything, and then we summarize our iLoad data. Yeah, it is typically a lengthy process if you are even using the iLoads as well. But that is why I told you, right, that for functional setup, if it is for 1,000 employees, it takes like around 400 to 500 hours, because this is the most tedious task to identify the name, to identify the managers, and to identify your organization structure as well.
Okay.
Right, so we have kind of created our organization structure. We have kind of identified the name of these organizations. Now we can also look into the locations of these organizations, right? So for practice org management, what will be the location?
It's
What will the
Indian
location?
Indian
Sorry.
police.
Yeah, because Chris location is, no, you always have to identify the location of your
SFO.
organization. location of your manager, right? So this location will be SFO.
SFO, yeah.
Now similarly for this also it will be SFO itself because manager is Chris here. So this will be SFO. Now for practice architect, so Glenn is the manager. We'll go to the employee name and we'll see that, okay, for this it's Indianapolis. For practice org HR, since Manpreet is the manager and looking at Manpreet's location, it's Chicago. For practice or R&D, Purvi is the manager and the location is SFO, so SFO. For practice org IT, Rahul is the manager and Rahul location is New York. And for practice org finance, Christian is the manager and it is in New York. So is till now, is that making sense that how do we identify everything?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So now we have identified our organization hierarchy. We have identified our locations. We have identified who will be the managers. Similarly, we can also track that for each organization, what can be like my allowed cost centers in it. So if we take an example, like for Chris, in Chris particular organization, so Chris is being aligned to CC1, right? Chris will be aligned to CC1. So if you can see here, we can tell that for this particular organization, there is only one cost center which has to be tied up, which is called CC1. Because as I told you, at the top level organization, only one person will be hired. That will be the CEO of the organization. And since CEO is aligned to CC1, for this particular, cost center, like when we go for the organization assignment, we will assign CC1 to him. Is that making sense? Right? So now if we go to the second level organization, that is practice org management. So here Glenn and Manpreet are reporting to Chris. For Glenn it is CC1 and for Manpreet it's CC1. So again, since there are only two employees who are reporting to Chris, that is Glenn and Manpreet, and they both are tied up to CC1. So for this also the organization assignment will be restricted to only CC1. Right? Is that making sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if you go to practice org tech, that is for Glenn. So now in practice org tech for Glenn, William is reporting and Christian is reporting. So one is CC3 and one is CC2. So for this particular organization, there will be two cost centers we have to tie up. That is CC2 and CC3, right? Or Christiana is reporting and her cost center is CC3. So for this particular thing, the assignment will be CC3. Similarly, if you move a bit here, let's just. So now for Manpreet, the Purvi and Rahul are reporting, and both their cost centers are CC2. So for this particular organization, the default will be CC2. Similarly, for Purvi, for Purvi, we can see that Monica is reporting to Purvi, and the defined cost center is CC2. So we'll only align CC2 to this. And similarly, for practice org IT, Rahul, Gaurav is reporting and his cost center is CC1. So the default organization assignment we will do like this. So till now, can you all identify now that how we identify like what will be the organization assignment and how we like while creating our supervisory orgs, how will be like doing that initial organization part with these cost sectors, right?
Yeah.
So till now, is it clear, right? No confusion in that. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So now, since we have only one company we have created, so automatically this company will be tied up to all these organizations while we're doing the assignment part. So that is the first thing you always have to do. I mean, if it is on iLoad, you will do these things in the iLoad. If it is like just for your practice or for your exam point of view, always make sure that whenever you create a supervisory, whenever you go for the tenant setup, you always do this practice first and then only go for any tenant setup. Once you have this thing ready, it will always be easier for you to compare it whenever you have created your organization chart, whenever you have completed your supervisory organization hierarchy and everything. This will always be a replica for you, so that you don't have to worry about looking at so many things. Right now, this is the whole structure we can say is for the supervisory organization hierarchy. Correct? Let's see.
Arun, I have a question.
Please.
So we right now we are getting the supervisory organization from the existing managers who are already there. But let's say tomorrow the company decides to create an entirely new department, maybe let's say an R&D department.
Okay.
So it's a completely new department, and maybe they have identified some positions, but right now they haven't hired anybody over there. So
Okay.
then how will the supervisory organizations will be created in that case?
So let's
Is it
say
done?
let's say that maybe like down the line 4 years they are opening up a digital marketing organization. Let's say like they are opening up a digital marketing practice. So what they will, first of all, what the company does is like they will identify that this digital marketing practice will be going under whom. So let's say the digital marketing practice assignment is done to Gaurav, or suppose any other new person will be hired, but that digital marketing team will report on to Glenn. So what will happen is, there will be one more organization which will be created behind Glenn, that will be called the digital marketing organization, let's say. And then once any person is hired, they will be hired to that particular organization, reporting on to Glenn. And we will also identify whether you'll be using this particular company to the existing cost centers, or we have to create a new one. So again, a new cost center will be created, and then assignment will be done in that sense as well.
But let's say it will be probably a team of maybe 30, 40 people in that completely new department, and they have already identified the roles, like
Correct.
maybe let's say a R&D manager or R&D executive and all. So then in that case, without the employees, we can still go ahead and set up the supervisory organization.
Exactly. Without the employees, you can go, but for that you need to. They will be identifying like how many managers will be there, how many. Even if the name will not be given, but at least they'll be knowing. Okay, there will be 4 managers. These six people will be reporting to this manager. This will be reporting to this. This will be reporting to this, and these 4 managers will be reporting to, say, maybe Glenn, maybe Mandeep, maybe anybody. So from that level, the organization hierarchy will be created without any manager name. And then while they're getting hired, they'll be assigned the role of the managers to the respective organizations.
Okay, okay, got it. Thanks.
Right? So as I told you, right, why,
Sorry, Arun.
hello.
But this creation of extra organization, supervisory organization,
Yeah.
without employee, we can upload from iLoad, or we have to create it from system only.
No. So typically, first we upload the supervisory organization, then only we hire people. So hiring is
Okay.
always done once the supervisory organization is created. So that is a mandatory step. So even if you see our examples as well, we first create the supervisory organization, then only we hire people. So that's the exact way how iLoad also does. So first we'll upload the location sheet of iLoad, then we'll upload the cost center sheet of iLoad, then we'll upload the company sheet, then we'll upload these all comp grades, allowance, everything. Then we configure the business processes, and then we hire people. Right.
Okay.
So that
So
is the whole.
we have to follow the steps, and on the basis of that, all the data will be important to system.
Exactly.
So, okay.
Right.
Yeah, understand.
Yeah. So till now, is this all making sense that what we have done?
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Arun, to
Yeah.
make life simple, I have one suggestion. To
Yeah.
make this implementation simple, if you import this employee detail, what you put it on top, employee name, manager, cost center, company, the Workday is automatically create an organization chart on the basis of that.
No, for that, that's what I'm saying. That we have to use the iLoads only, then only Workday will be able to create. And the
Mm,
process is altogether the same. That you have to follow the steps itself.
Okay, because the client have data, this type of data in Excel. So doing
Yeah,
manipulation in data, that will be also some type of work. So
yeah,
default
exactly.
data
And
if I imported.
that is a functional consultants are there, right? Or else what will be the job of the functional consultants in Workday?
Okay, okay,
Right? So I mean, somebody has to do this tenant setup. If it is automatically done by Workday, then there is no need of functional consultants, right?
okay, okay.
Yeah. So your idea may eat up so many functional consultant jobs,
I got it.
right? Yeah. So now we have created our supervisory organization hierarchy. Similarly, let's take an example that we will create the cost center hierarchy as well, because that is so during the practice part, that is all your logical thinking that how the way you want your cost center hierarchy, or else like if client wants, they will tell you that this will be by hierarchy or kind of that. But typically, I mean, clients doesn't have much information about the cost center hierarchy, so that's the idea. The consultant sit with the client, understand their cost center structure, and then say, okay, these things can be reporting to these things, and then move on gradually to the higher level, right? So in our case, let's say we are saying that our top level will be practice or the cost center hierarchy. That will be my top level. Then we can segregate it into this org, tech, CCH, and let's say practice org, HR, CCH. And that's okay. Right now, we are not following any strict name pattern, but yeah. So in that, let's say that CC1 and CC2 are tied up to this, and this as CC3. Okay, so this will be kind of our cost center hierarchy, which we'll be creating in the system. That is so that is all. Like this typically is the thing which is always done, or which is always being based on the customer, like customer situation. If the customer understand this, then they will tell you like how they want it. If they don't understand you, then the functional consultant sit with the clients and will tell, okay, this is the cost center hierarchy we have to create, and that is how the cost center hierarchy reporting will be done. Is that making sense?
Arun, can you repeat this point?
Okay. What I'm saying is typically whenever we go for like a cost center hierarchy part, what happens is, I mean, clients are not having much clear picture of like how this cost center hierarchy works, because this is something which like a client needs to understand that, okay, why we are doing this hierarchy part. Why we are creating hierarchies, like if we have to combine the data of CC1 and CC2 and present it all together at a single report, then we will sit here, and if we create a report here, we will get the data from CC1 and CC2 both, right? But if we sit here, we can get the data of CC1, CC2, and CC3 all together. So that is why this cost center hierarchy is required, so that all the accounting, finance, because if we go to particular this or CC1, we can only get the data only about this CC1, right? Then these CC2 and CC3 cannot be combined and can create a single data. So that is why hierarchies are created. They're just for the reporting perspective. Now, if the top management wants that the total revenue or finance statement from all the cost centers which are there, he will go to this particular hierarchy. He'll create a report from here, and all those data will be populated for him, right? That is why we create the cost center hierarchy. And so typically, if the customer knows, he will tell you, okay, this is my cost center hierarchy and this is how I want. If the customer doesn't know, the consultants sit together, make them understand that why this is required, how the perfect hierarchy can come up, and give you the detailed description. That's when they sit together, understand their cost centers, understand like how they're clubbed together, grouped together, and then they create the cost center hierarchy as well, right?
So initially, when we start the implementation, we have to ask for organization chart, I think so.
Exactly. So we will not ask for the organization chart, because only this chart they will give, but we'll talk about these custom organization charts, like for cost center, for location. We can ask if they have that, that's fine. If they don't have, then we have to build it by our own.
Okay.
But Arun, cost center is not mandatory, right? I mean, it's an optional thing, or do we need to configure that as well?
So it's an optional thing, but typically, I mean, cost centers are set up in the system so that whenever they have this Workday, wherever they have the financial setup, I mean, whether it is Workday or any other financial tool, then this data has to flow from Workday to that particular financial tool, and that is why cost centers are kind of like setup, which is not mandatory, but they're kind of required so that Workday can interact with the financial tool as well.
Okay.
So, what
Yeah.
exactly I have learned is that we should record as much data we can. So, does it help in Workday as well? So, in any previous tools where I have worked, which I have learned while working, that we should record as much data we should. But does it help any ways in Workday as well?
It's everywhere. Like if you have the complete data, it is much easier for you to build the tenant. If you have minimal data, there will be a lot of interaction between you and the customers that, okay, this is the pending, this is pending, this is pending. And so typically, like before we do the tenant setup, we get all these informations as much as we can. For whatever it is not there, we sit with the customer, identify the things and finalize it, and then only we go for the tenant setup. Because once these things are created, then it's very hard to change it, because changing means everything will be changed correspondingly. So that's why before we do go for any tenant setup or we go for anything kind of that, we finalize things first and then we go for it.
Because these are basically the titles, but within these there are many subtitles while creating, which we have seen. So we should also make a subtitles along with them, or how should we work then?
Subtitles
Because these
means
are basic subtitles, like you must have seen that the language part was also there, then the time standard was also there in while creating organizations. So there are multiple options, right, from the drop
exactly.
down while creating. So we should also create columns for them as well.
Exactly. So typically that's why like the template I mean, company will have, that will have all the details in that, right? Any and every sorry, because whenever you download that iLoad sheet from the system, that iLoad sheet once downloaded will have all these columns which are required for Workday. So I'll show you one iLoad sheet if I have. Just give me a second. I'll open one iLoad sheet for you guys.
Yeah.
So I need to download a template. I don't have it right now. So I'll show you that template, that how I'll download it first and then I'll show it to you guys all, so that you can also take a look about the iLoads, and that we can cover. But typically, yes, iLoads are the templates, which are Excel templates, and typically when we go to the customers, we have our iLoad template, and based on that, we create our requirement sheet. Okay, that for this particular thing, these are the iLoads, and these are the columns. So based on that, we are create our own requirement sheet and give it to the clients, so that they can fill it in only one single Excel sheet, and then we can copy the data from there to our respective iLoad sheets, right? So that is how typically the approach is being done. But if the clients are understandable, if the client knows Workday, then they'll directly ask you for the iLoad sheets and they can fill in the data and provide it to you. So that also happens, but it goes both ways parallelly,
Okay.
right? So if till now, is that all making sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So it will get complicated when we'll include security and business process.
It will be complicated, but first, so once we have these cost center hierarchies, location hierarchy, supervisory organization hierarchy, compensation grades, allowance plan, everything is created in the system. Then we go for the security group. Then we go for the business process configuration. Once that is also done, then we will go for the hiring part,
So
right?
doesn't it location hierarchy a part of custom org wherein first we create locations, then location hierarchy, or is it a
Exactly.
later part?
So that can be both ways. So you can create location and then you can create location hierarchy. You can create location hierarchy, then create location and assign it to them. But typically the best approach is that you create the location and then you create the location hierarchy.
Yeah, because you know everything. Remember, you freshly created it, and it's handy as well.
So I'm just using the same name for which I have created our cost center hierarchy. Just I'll change it. So I'll just change it as location hierarchy, and I'll say LH maybe. And I'll assign few locations to these and few locations to them. So typically like New York, Chicago, Washington. And for this we can have Indianapolis, uh, Los Angeles. Right. So that is again being dependent on like how the customer wants. But in our case, we are just using straight away that okay, these will be our hierarchies kind of thing. But that is again being primarily driven by the customer requirement, right? So why I'm creating all those things is so that I can give you the complete overview of how this whole tenant setup does. So we created our location hierarchy, we created our cost center hierarchy. We'll also be creating a single company which is there. We'll be creating our supervisory organization hierarchy and everything. So till now, is that making sense? How do we approach and all those things when you're going for the iLoad, we will fill all those details in the iLoad sheet itself. So right now, since it's a smaller part and we want to do it manually so that you can understand all these steps, once we have this thing, then we'll move to the iLoads and upload this bulk data. So that will also we'll cover. But before that, I just wanted to have you all know how to do it manually, how to create all those things in the system manually and start doing your things, right? So this is like the initial step you have to do before you go for the tenant setup. So till now, is that like making sense? Everything, whatever we have done till now.
Yeah.
Right. So now, what I would like, so we will do these things, but what I can suggest for you guys is that we'll share this Excel sheet with you. You can like for everything you can add up your initials. That is, say for suppose you're creating this CCH, you can like append a particular your name in the end. That is underscore say Anand, say Anil, say Bala, say Seema, however you want, so that we can identify like who has created what and in everything as per our document specifications or not, right? That will what my suggestion would be to, so that you can have this setup handy with
Correct.
you when yeah.
Last time when we were covering allowances, there was one section which you told us that you will be looking into it as you have not worked much on that while doing setups. I don't remember what was the name, some
That was the
compensation.
compensation basis.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that is something which
yeah, I'll
is
cover that.
next.
I'll cover that. I'll
Okay.
cover that. But since typically like 80% setup, so that is a part of advanced compensation. It is not a part of compensation setup which we talk about like in our training period. That is more of the advanced compensation for which Workday has other training things and everything for that, and that typically is being taken up by very much bigger firms. That is what in that is like the merit plan, the stock plan. Maybe there is like you can see performance plan. So merit plan is more like suppose you say that okay, if a person is getting this particular rating, then automatically system give him 10% hike. Those type of things are all configured under those compensation basis and advanced compensation part,
So is it
right?
core payroll thing?
No, that is core compensation, but in terms of advanced compensation. Payroll is what? Payroll is like once your salary and everything is done, on the last day, how much salary you have to get is being done by the payroll. The hiking, the promotions, the salary hike, all those are not part of a payroll. Payroll is just like on the 30th of the month, how much salary you have to get based on your current salary, based on the if you're going for any loss of pay, anything kind of that, and based on that only salary is processed. That is what is all payroll is all about. But your merit increase, all these things are covered under the compensation section.
That
Okay.
is also called as PMS management, Arun,
What is PMS?
performance management.
Yeah, you can say so. Performance management is just like that. You get the data. That is supposed to take an example that I'm your manager. I'm saying you that hey, these are the 10 tasks you have to do within next 6 months. This is your goal. So we'll sit after 6 months. Okay. Have you achieved all your goal? If you have achieved all your goals, that will be 10 rating. If you have not achieved, then it's 6, 8, whatever based on that, right?
So
So
this
that is
this
performance
same,
management.
this same rating will be used for increment and promotion, I think so.
Exactly. So that part will go to the merit plan that, okay, this is the
Okay.
rating he has got, and based on that, this is the percentage hike he has to get.
Okay.
So all those things are interlinked. I mean, that's why I say that everything in Workday, and that is why Workday is more efficient because everything is on a single place. There is no need for any integration, any type of data flow, nothing, because everything is on a single place and is available in the system at a single place. Right?
Okay, Arun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now,
Arun, since we are referring this data sheet, like we are going to do implementation from scratch, that's how we are going to approach this sheet, right?
exactly.
Okay. So in that case, shouldn't we be having security groups also? Or
We will do that. So first let's first I want you guys to create the location. So I will add the steps that what we have to do, and then based on that we'll keep on adding on this. So this will be our initial level of tenant setup. Then we'll go for the security groups, then we go for the business process configuration, and then we'll go for the hire. So the first step is like you create the location, then you create
Cost centers.
then you create cost center, then you create company, then you create location hierarchy, then assign locations, then you create cost center hierarchy, assign cost center, then you create supervisory organization hierarchy, then you create job profiles, then you create compensation grades, then create allowance plan. Once you have these things, this is the kind of, I can say that the first step you have to do so that everything is done from the scratch and everything is readily available for you. And post that, once these things are done, that's it. That is typically the process how we go for any ILOD sheets when we go for it. This is exactly the same process we are going to follow. Once we are done with this, then we'll create security group. We will modify domain settings. We'll modify business process settings.
Arun, these
Yeah.
assign cost center and assign location is assigning to the supervisory org, is it?
Hierarchy. No, not in the supervisory. First assigning this
Okay.
to location hierarchies, this assigning to cost center hierarchies.
Okay.
Once that is done, then while you are creating the supervisory organization hierarchy, you assign those cost centers and location to the SOs as well. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Once we have this domain settings done, we have the business process security settings done, we configure the business process. Once we do that, then we go for the hiring. So that is the whole step of this whole thing is covering the whole HCM setup. Okay. So this is how we are going to approach. So for today, if I tell you this is the thing you have to do. This is the first step you have to do. Once we have these things ready, then I'll add in this particular Excel sheet, I'll add the data like how security group, what will our business process look like, and everything related to that. Is that
Okay,
making sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
but then we need this sheet by today only,
Yeah,
post the call.
I'll share this sheet, or let me see if I can share it with the GTM itself. Uh, okay, I'll ask the team to share these sheets with you, so that and that will share today itself, so that you can do the practice setup and everything. And by tomorrow, once we see these things are ready, we'll move with our security group and hiring part as well, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So this sheet will keep handy always. Once we have like our security group configured, once we have people hired, then we'll move on using these employees to see how time tracking is done, how payroll is done, how performance management is done, how the iLoad sheet is done, and based on this only we will be doing our integrations as well. Correct? So this will be our data setup for all our trainings from today. From today onwards, these will be our data setup, these will be our employees and everything which we'll be using for our further training uploads, right? So make sure that everyone practicing, make sure that you are doing it in the similar manner which with the hierarchies and everything we have created, so that there is no confusion on the data part. So make sure you add in your name in front of this, so that if I have to take a look, I know that okay, these are created by this particular person and whether it is correct or not. Then if there is any error or anything kind of which is not matching, I can specifically tell that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that all? Will that be a nice approach for you guys to understand everything, or do you want any other thing we can add in here?
Yeah, certainly it is.
Okay, good one. Understood.
Yeah. So this will give you the complete picture till these steps. If I say this will tell you everything that how you do this. Once you do this thing, then your whole HCM functional side, then you can say that you are a functional consultant into the Workday system. Once we'll cover these things, you are a fully known functional consultant of Workday system in HCM domain. That is what it is all about. Right. So I'll share this sheet. I'll ask the team to share this sheet so that you can take a look and you can start building and you can start practicing on this.
It's going to
Okay.
be a long night today.
I think I have to apply
Um,
for leave now for weeks.
Arun, this has came out of syllabus now.
So this is actually what you need to understand. I mean, till now we were talking only about theory and only about small practice sessions. But once you'll complete this thing, you will be like fully known Workday consultant. I can tell you in terms of functional skills.
Hey, this is Bala. And a couple of things, right?
Yeah, but
You told me that
um,
you'll be sending the.
Arun, can you also send us the iLoad template along with this sheet?
I I'll share that. I'll share that.
Okay, Arun,
Okay,
this is
okay.
Bala again.
And actually, I was
Bala, your
trying to
voice is
log
not clear.
into.
Bala, your voice is very low, so I mean people cannot hear you.
Okay, you are able to hear me?
Yeah, Bala.
Okay. Hey, you need to send me a couple of things, man. The first one is the course, the content. You told me that you'll be sending that. I did not receive it.
Okay.
Can you please make a note and you can tell the people so that they will send it to us today?
Yeah, sure, Bala.
So
Give
that
me a
is one
second.
thing. Second thing, the Excel sheet that you are working on currently that I needed to practice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Seema was telling that the iNote template, right?
Yeah, Bala, sure.
Right. And a couple of weeks back, you were telling me something like, you are going to give me kind of material that will tell you what is my primary business object, second relational business object link.
Sorry, Bala, I missed what you said.
You said you are going to give me the links between the different objects.
Arun,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah.
So we all, I guess, all must have received that tenant is not working today. So
Yeah,
I've just,
today is the tenant down. Yeah, I know that.
so how will we
But
do
it will
all
be
this
ready.
stuff?
It will be up, I think, in some time. We are working
I
on
can't
that.
hear you.
I mean, what I'm saying is like it will be up in some time. We are working on that so that it is ready. And as soon as it is ready, we will let you know so that you can start practicing,
Okay.
right? But I'll share these things with you guys today itself. I mean, I'll ask the team to share this with you all guys today itself, so that you can at least take a look and you can at least like relate things in the system.
Okay. One more thing, I'm a little bit curious. I think probably I asked this question already, but I'm just asking it again. Uh, Whatever you've done is great. I understood the fundamentals of the whole thing. But when do you think that you'll be starting the technical aspect of this?
Yeah. So when I'm planning,
Yeah. When you're
okay.
going to take the technical side of it.
I'll show you one thing like when we are planning. Just give me a second.
Bala, are you driving or what?
No, man, I am at work yet.
Because today you are not like Bala.
Yeah,
Bala is very loud and clear.
right. I am surrounded by like 30 people. So,
So I mean, so till now we have covered these core concepts till compensation. The pending thing is like, so what I'll do is, so this payroll, benefits, time tracking, leave of absence. We have also done the business process configuration, which is see once we'll be hiring. Once we have these things, so there are two ways now. There are two approaches now, which I feel. So first is like now we have this core HCM part ready and configured. Then we'll move into the integration side now to give you a bit picture of how integration works, like how the custom report works and how the integration works. Once we have those things ready, then we'll move into the advanced functional setup. That is the core, I mean the payroll, the benefits, the time tracking, the leave of absence. Is that fine with everyone?
yes, that's fine. Very, it's perfect. Can you elaborate, like, what is your whole plan?
My whole plan.
Uh-huh.
So this is how we are gonna do it now. So since we have covered these concepts of staffing, compensation, the business process configuration, and hiring things, now these things which I'm talking about is the advanced functional level, which we'll do post this integration side. So in integrations, we'll be covering these three things. That is uh, EIB connectors and Workday Studio. So then once we have covered this, then we'll move on to the our functional advanced functional setup for those things.
So when do you
So by
cover I load thing?
so iLoad will be just as soon as we cover, as soon as because that is a part of this setup only. What we
Ah,
are doing here, once we'll do our core steps, if we see our NL Excel sheet, once we'll do the hire, the last step would be like I also take the demo on the iLoad,
okay, okay,
right? So that, because that is all everything, like this is only the things which we do in iLoad. So all these things will have a separate sheet in iLoad which will be filling in and which will be uploading it. So
okay.
that is just like a straightforward thing.
Yeah. It's okay for me, man, because I need to get into the technical aspect of this. That is more useful for me personally. That's why I'm just asking it.
Exactly.
So if you stick to this plan, it would be definitely benefit me.
Correct. So that is how we're gonna move on, because now since we have this HCM part ready, we can see how the integration works with the data which you upload in the system, and then we'll go for the advanced level of the HCM level.
Okay. So, but
Right?
when you say the integration, you talk about general integration as well as the other one, studio, right?
Yeah, I'll be talking about all the three. That is the IB, that is Core Connector, and that is Studio. So I'll cover each thing.
And the reports also you'll be covering it here.
reports are like the basic part of any of these integrations. So that is something. So typically, I mean, for even the functional guys, they need to know what is custom report and how they are built, because custom reports are configured 50% by the functional side and 50% by the technical side. So
Right.
that is why custom report is something which needs to be known to everybody.
So
So
you'll be
once
covering that also, right?
exactly, so these all, so custom reports are the prerequisite, you can say, for all these three things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
without custom report, we'll not be able to build any of these
So the
stack.
matrix report and all those things, you mean?
Matrix and transpose reports are not part of integrations. Those are all separate things which are created because they're just for the reporting perspective, and they are not part of any integrations. Those are totally a separate thing which is created for, like, you can say, analysis of the data. That is, let's say, last 5 years, how many people have resigned, what were the reason, what was the attrition rate. So for that, we create our composite or matrix reports.
So you'll be covering them too?
Typically, that's not a part of this, but definitely I'll give you the overview of all those reporting.
Okay. Okay.
Arun,
Yeah.
uh, there's something else. I'm not sure what exactly is the verbiage. Some reporting calls XLMT or something like that. Is it also part of the course?
So only so for HCM consultants and for like the course design, it's all about the custom reports we create. That is the two types. That is the simple and advanced ones we create for, like, functional team creates for HRs and everybody else within the system for managers. For integration side, we create those custom reports to extract the data based on the requirement. That is typically being covered by Workday when you go for the HCM training and integration training, and that is the plan we have. But definitely, since you guys have asked it, I'll give you the overview of all other reports which are there in the system, so that you can at least know that what all these things are.
Okay. And when you'll send this Excel, will you remove all this stuff, the which you have created?
Do you want
Just
me to remove
use,
it, or do you want me to remove it, or
yeah,
let?
No, no, keep
just
it.
just
No, no, no. Let it be there.
So that's
Do
probably
not
up to you
remove,
guys.
please. Do not remove. Right? Otherwise, let's do one thing. You have two tabs, sheet one and sheet two. Sheet one will have everything, and sheet two will have a,
yeah,
remove version.
yeah, because it's quite easy, and let's just look into the things and create it, because then you'll not get a gist of it how you have to create each and everything. So if we can we can create a duplicate one with all the answers and one with only questions.
Please, I need answers, man. Arun, I'm offering you, like, come and stay at my home for more than 1 week, man. I'll buy a ticket for you.
That's the nicest offer I've ever got.
I'm serious, man. I really buy a ticket for you. Come and stay at free food, free stay, everything.
That's something. That's a nice. So let's do one thing. Let's first cover these things. Once you'll be knowing everything, then I'll be definitely there first there, like, for a week, and will tell you everything in that sense.
Arun,
Bala,
one more thing. Is it
Yeah.
possible to go through a Workday project plan, like for a client where implementation has been done?
Definitely, I'll show. So that what we'll do is, like, once these things are ready, once we'll be, like, knowing all the integrations, then I'll show you the project plan, that how it goes, so that you can take a look. Okay, because right now, since you are knowing, this is the earlier stage. So once we'll cover these two topics at least, like, the core HCM and the integration side, then I'll open that project plan. I'll show you that how do we move to the customers and talk to them and get the requirements, and then do the estimation.
Okay, great, great.
Right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bala, Bala.
I think Bala is on mute.
Okay. Arun sir, I have other alternative.
Yeah.
As we got a good faculty, and you also got a good student who are eager to learn Workday very
Exactly.
eagerly. So once the completion of this whole training, just tell Workday to give us 6 appointment letters. We will go to US and meet Bala.
So I'll make sure that once you all are ready and once you all are comfortable, I'll make sure that I let you know what are the places you can apply for and how you can like move into the Workday system. That also I let you know. So don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the whole final intention.
Right. Arun,
definitely. I'll
are you there, Arun?
yeah, yeah, Bala, yeah.
Hey, I know you can do this, man. Right? You help me out. Okay. My friends told me that you guys have some kind of manual from Workday regarding all the modules, right? I know these are not shareable, but if you can get it, just circulate as much. Benefit it will benefit every one of us, man.
I'll try, Bala. That's what I'm saying, right? Because I mean, for me, like I got trained in like 6 years back, so I mean I don't have any booklet with me right now. It's all like my practice and everything. I kept everything right.
I
I'll
don't tell
try to.
anybody. I don't tell anybody that I got it tomorrow.
No, no, no.
Okay.
I'm not worried about you, Wala. I know that, but I'll try to get it and get that scanned, and then I'll send it to the team so that they can forward it to you. I cannot guarantee you like in next 2 3 days, but I can at least assure you that within some time I'll arrange that and then see
Yeah,
if you can cross.
you send the document from xx.com or something like that. We'll understand that information.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand. I'll try to get that so that I can share with you.
Right.
Bala,
Okay.
Bala, you are offering bribe on public place.
I'm not bribing anybody, man. You know, right? Knowledge is the only thing it will grow when you share,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You agree?
Arun, so for Workday certification, do you have to keep on renewing it after every couple of years, or once you're certified, you're certified?
Every 6 months you have to go for so there will be like around 7 to 8 hours of videos which you have to see, then go for the exam. So you don't have to go to any place, you can do it from your home itself, and that is like unlimited attempts. You have to give your exams and pass it out. So that is all like you don't lose your certifications, you're definitely gonna pass it since there is no teacher looking at you. You can do it with your friends or kind of that, and do your updates. So it's nothing but just like keep renewing about what is happening. So you have to do mandatorily those updates. You cannot miss that, but that you have to keep on doing it, or else then like for 1 year if you don't do the updates, your certificate will be gone.
Hey, Arun, one question,
No,
Arun, before I
but
leave.
Arun,
Yeah,
Arun,
yeah. Please
start
go
the
ahead.
integration tomorrow, right?
Sorry, Bala.
You're going to start the integration tomorrow?
What thing?
Integration.
So once, so we'll be like tomorrow. My main thing is to finalize these things. This security group, DP hire, and iLoad. So from day after tomorrow, we'll start with the integration.
Okay, man. Thanks, man. Okay, guys.
uh,
Can I leave
Arun,
now?
Yeah, yeah,
Can I leave?
sure, Bala. Yeah, yeah.
Bye.
but I have heard that for certification, you have to be with the partner company. Then
Exactly.
only your managers or superior must nominate you. Then only you can go for that certification, right? No, you can just go and do the certification.
No.
Is it?
So typically it's like organization on organization basis. So when I was hired in my organization, I was hired only for Workday. So then I was automatically on the day of my hiring, next day I went for the Workday certification. So that is again dependent on the organizational fronts itself, that how they want it. So when they only for Workday, they'll directly hire them. While they're like nominating people, then they'll go for their own internal approvals and then nominate people. Because the reason is like the Workday certification is very costly. It's like 4,000, $5,000 for each certificate.
Okay.
So that's why like
Uh,
companies prefer like in a very smarter way to go for the certifications.
Oh.
so Arun, would the certificate get revoked if you quit the partner company?
So typically, if you quit the partner company and if you join any partner company within 1 year, your certification will not be void. But if you don't join for like 1 year and you're out or away from the updates what they mentioned, then it creates a problem.
Okay.
So how we get updates, Arun?
So they have their own learning portal Workday has. So if you are in a partner company, once you are the certified one, you'll have the learning portal where you have to log in and look at the videos, give the exams, and keep updating. So it's every 6 months you have to do.
Okay, there's no communication from Workday. These are the modifications happen in this particular period.
So that everything will be covered in those videos. They'll tell you that this is the time we will send you all the like videos, and then you have to go through it within this particular time frame. So that is the only update Workday will provide you.
Okay.
So I guess are we done for the day?
Yeah, so we are done. So I'll share this sheet. I'll check with my team so that they can get it. I'll also see like when the tenant is available and they will notify you.
Okay. But
Right?
it's already 10 around. So
Yeah, so it's
how
fine.
will so I don't think so they'll be available post 10 today.
I'll check with them, but if it's fine if it is not, then anybody who will be able, or if not, then I'll also like do these things in the system so that I can show you if you want,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Arun,
Yeah.
actually my this tenant is not working, and I'm calling Vivek. Can I get any other number, other support guys number to whom I can contact
So
and get this
what is
tenant
the
moving?
number? What is the number you're using? Can you tell me the number?
1 minute.